Hey everybody, welcome into PNC Studio here at Hallis Hall. I'm Jeff Joniak along with Tom Thayer, my broadcast partner from WBBM, and welcome to Position Breakdown. We're going to dig into the secondary, and there's a lot to dig into here too. We're going to start with the cornerback position because it's wide open. There's a lot of different types of players, of experience and traits, and the skill set is going to really have an interesting decision to make at the end of the day, who starts where, because there's a couple of spots open. But what I really love about it, Tom, attitude, swagger, style. They're a bunch of busy bees right now, like a hornet's nest stirred up. Annoying receivers, and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, you know, this is very fortunate because in the last couple of years, Sean Desai has had a hands-on approach to the defensive backfield of this team. And now he moves up front to the defensive coordinator. So he kind of understands the talent pool that he has to make these decisions from. And he's fortunate that he has experience working together for their second year in a row at the safety position. But they also had great corner development there by Jalen Johnson, and he's making big plays continuously throughout camp. He's getting his hands on a lot more footballs. So I guess the decision factor, how do the other pieces fall into place to get that whole backfield together?
Well, you got to cover, but you got to take the ball away. And they had 7 interceptions total by the secondary, just 1 by a cornerback last season. So turnovers, part skill, part luck, but 100% effort. And he has this on his mind. He has to get an interception. He did not get one last year. 15 pass breakups, though, and Jalen Johnson was allowing just a 51% catch rate. That was really impressive. 5 touchdowns allowed, but he got targeted 72 times, tied for the lead with Kyle Fuller last year, so they didn't shy away from him.
Right, that's no secret. You got a rookie cornerback sitting out there with no training camp. Week 1, you open up against the Detroit Lions. They're going to come at you, but I think he represented himself really well, and he got better every single game. The interceptions are going to come, the turnovers are going to come, but that's going to be a part of the effort of the defense as a whole, not just his individual play.
All right, young players on that other side of the field and some veterans mixed in there, so we're going to go through them one at a time because the other aspect of this is whoever wins the other side could be the guy who doesn't is going to be the slot. So it's a very interesting collection of bodies. We start with veteran Desmond Trufant. You just look at the number, 103 games in his career. Yes, he battled a hamstring last year. He's only played 15 games the last couple of years, but a ton of experience with Atlanta and Detroit. 14 interceptions, a couple of touchdowns in his career. Then you got Artie Burns. He's played 58 games. Coming off an injury last year, 32 game starts, was with the Steelers, and that's where he has, the bulk of his career was right there, but a torn ACL mid-August last year. He's rounding into shape. Xavier Crawford, another guy, veteran, getting snaps at nickel as well. So there's your collection of veteran players.
Yeah, and they all belong here, and I think that makes it really exciting for the defensive coaches because there's not a guy here that's out of place. There's guys that look a little bit different than, they're not all similar when they stand in line.
It's like you and I.
So, but they have experience, they have an understanding of the variation of NFL offenses around the league, and they both have just the type of experiences that you need to make the decision right. And I'm glad there's a lot of guys to decide from because I think it's going to make it really competitive throughout the entirety of camp.
All right, let's talk about the younger guys. Kendall Vildor got his feet wet last year in big moments at the end of the season, so he comes in feeling very confident out of Georgia Southern. I had 135 snaps in the final 4 games last year and a lot of tension on 22 right now.
Yeah, but I'm glad there's been a lot of attention paid to him since the veteran minicamp. Because now that you got kind of some expectations thrust upon you, and can you continuously live up to those expectations? I like his confidence at the podium, and I like his confidence on the field. And I think that really plays an important role in the depth of the defensive back because you need that young guy that's climbing the ladder. In each and every practice, he shows some type of improvement that keeps him in the mind of the position coaches.
All right, then you go to Duke Shelley, who got a lot of snaps last year in the slot, 11 games. Had 8 tackles, a pass breakup. He's a feisty guy as well. And then Thomas Graham Jr., the rookie out of Oregon, also looking at that slot position. He continues to make plays at training camp and get his hands on the ball like he did in college. Those are a couple of the young guys to keep an eye on.
And I think they both carry exciting confidence with them. And I think that's what you need at that position, defensive back as a whole, but that slot corner. So when you talk about a guy that's got his feet wet, one thing about a player, when he gets his feet wet, he just wants more. He just wants more snaps. He wants more responsibility. He wants to be able to accomplish more. So I think that's exciting about Duke Shelley. But I like what I've seen out of Thomas Graham. He's an exciting draft choice. He's been flying around the field, making plays, making deflections, got to grab himself a couple of interceptions. And I think it's such an important position to be successful at. I'm glad they got multiple bodies to decide from.
Young guy as well, an undrafted rookie, Deontay Ruffin, and then Trey Roberson, who got hurt last year as well, out of the Canadian Football League, keeping an eye on him as well. All right, let's switch over to the safety position. And there is also a lot of experience and youth there as well, and it's in the form of the two starters, Eddie Jackson, E-Jax, the quick six Jackson. He hopes to find that role once again. Quick six Jackson, 6 touchdown returns in his career, did not have an interception last year, but paired for the first time with a guy that he's familiar with back-to-back years. First it was Adrian Amos, and now it's Deshaun Gibson.
Yeah, you think of Eddie Jackson back early in his career when the success he had with Vic Fangio. And I think Vic Fangio is a big influence on what Sean Desai is going to present to his defensive team here once the season gets rolling. So that may open up and increase the opportunities for Eddie Jackson to get back into his role where he's a turnover machine. Turn some of those turnovers into interceptions, at least possessions for the offense. So between he and Deshaun Gibson, I really like what I see back there in the defensive backfield. And I think it's exciting because when you're still trying to bring in some guys and continuous their growth and development, you have them. You know, you have guys like Deion Bush and stuff that have experience back there, DeAndre Houston Carson. But right now, it's going to be led by Eddie Jackson and Deshaun Gibson.
And Gibson with 25 interceptions in his 9 years. There is quality depth here. And, you know, you look at these guys like Deion Bush and, like you said, DHC, they're tremendous special teams players as well. So the value, there's added value. DHC proved in big nickel last year in big moments at the end of games against Tom Brady in Tampa Bay and also against the Carolina Panthers and Teddy Bridgewater. Man, he made some huge plays to finish the job, and the fade to black moment was on the shoulders of a really good football player in DHC.
Yeah, you know, he's Mr. Reliable, really. When you got to put him in the game, he's inserted, he's ready mentally and physically immediately. Deion Bush is the same type of guy that's getting a lot of reps here in training camp, and he's proving his value. Because if anything, they'd have an interruption with the starters, I think they'd be able to go in and not skip a beat and not change the defense at all.
And Deion Bush has been here as long as anybody with Ryan Pace in his front office, and a likable young man. He's got tremendous talent, and I know that when he gets opportunities, you know, he's really in a place now where he feels he can take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think all these guys, that's a unique thing about this group of defensive backs, is when they're inserted in the lineup, they're going to capitalize on their opportunity.
We also became familiar back in 2018 with Michael Joseph out of Oswego High School. Yep. He walked in the room and said, "Hey, I used to listen to you guys growing up." You know, that made us feel very old, but he's working his way back and now at a different position, trying to learn that safety spot. He missed all of 2020 with a knee. But an undrafted, self-made player from Little Dubuque College, you know, the odds were pretty small for you to get to the NFL, and he's been here now since 2018 and now learning a new position.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like a college offensive tackle going and playing guard, because if you have the traits and the skill and the ability to play cornerback in college, you want to be able to see if those same skills transfer to the safety position. But with Michael Joseph, he's proved that he has those kind of cornerback traits, but it would be nice to bring that speed to the inside.
All right, those are your Bees. Maybe there'll be a new version of the old Miami Dolphins Killer Bees. It'll be the Killer Bees in the secondary.
No. This B stands for Bears.
Yes, they will. And they're going to have a great time back in our secondary with that pass rush married with it. They got to be tough tacklers in this system. It looks like that's exactly what they have on their hands. For Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. We'll talk to you next time.